a very big radio, that's true. You know the expression? The mannetje van de radio?
Yeah, I know it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi,
Hello, Michael.
Hello.
You okay, Michael?
Yeah, that was I've had COVID. That's the third time, and that was really bad. Yeah. Oof.
What way bad? You didn't have any energy?
Just the respiratory part of it. And thank goodness nobody else in the house got it. I knew driving back from the tournament that I wasn't feeling well, so I masked right away, and so lucky nobody else got it.
Oh, that's good.
So you got it at the tournament, and you already, like a few hours later, you already started noticing the effects.
No. So the tournament was I went out Thursday. I came back Monday, and Monday I just didn't I just didn't feel my chest was tight, and it was raw, and something's up here. So it was it 3 or 4 day incubation.
All right. Well, good that you're better now. That's
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
That must be rough.
And hungry.
And yeah,
and
fruit.
Breakfast. Fruit breakfast.
What are you getting for breakfast?
I start with fruit always.
Okay.
Yeah, so honeydew and cantaloupe.
That's
melons.
Nice.
Yeah. So we'll wait for Louis to talk about the real time the emulator.
If you want, we can start already. He can always watch if he wants to.
Right.
So
hold on, I've got a dog that's probably barking at her own shadow. Poppy, what are you doing? Nobody there. There's nobody there.
You've seen his dog? He's cute, the dog.
I think I've seen it, yeah.
One time he showed.
Yeah. So did you guys, in the middle of those posts about the emulator, I mentioned something, I don't know if you guys caught it, was that as part of the emulator, I created a uBlocks packet decoder and a packet assembler. And I thought, well, why not just make the other side of the conversation? Hold on, I got to get this dog in here. Come here, Poppy. Come here. Come on. Stay with me. That's why you're upset. Okay. So I was thinking we could just replace the uBlocks library with something just exactly what we need, without all the baggage and the memory allocation issues.
That would be great if you
we
did
could.
it.
So I'll create a fork off of the current design and start trying that out.
Okay, and if you're progressing, let us know, because then we can just move it to Safecast, and then we or in the Zen repository. So that's
right.
Then everybody can access it and modify it if it's needed. Right. Because I think on your GitHub, people don't have a write permission; they can only read.
Right. And I was able to very early on create a fork and then have you guys push that into the, remember that was that simple thing about a rollover.
Oh, that's true. Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
I think it's probably, from what Rob just mentioned, easier to keep it as a library. Like you can publish the SparkFun or like your version, like the smaller version, like as a platform.io package from your own GitHub, of course.
Right.
And then I don't have the sensor report the library on Safecast.
That's
repositories
true.
anyway. So
that is easier.
If people want to work on it, they're free to submit
Yeah, I mean,
something
I'd create the fork
or
just to
request.
test it out.
Right.
But you're right. And so what I did was I said, all right, it was very easy to just go and search the code and find these are all the commands going into that library. So I will exactly implement those commands as is, um, and return the same things that those libraries return.
Yeah,
That's
I
great.
think maybe the easiest version is to just fork and remove all the functions that we don't use. And
Right.
first you can keep the memory allocation, but then replace the memory allocation with like the static properties or not static, just
Right. Well,
properties that,
I like I said, I already have the foundation for it. The emulator is just one side of the conversation, and the
right. Okay.
library is the other side of the conversation. It's and I know obviously I looked through their library to pick out their implementation and improve
Yep.
on it.
All right. Sounds good.
I
Nice little
quickly
project.
run this, but then I tried to implement it on an M5 Atom, and that didn't work because I really like the small atoms. So
Right.
you just pin out and that's it. But I gave it only a few minutes, and then I said, and I'm not going to dig into it. I have other things to do at the moment.
Well, M5 is with ESP, so if you can make it work for ESP, then should work on M5 as well. But
Right.
I was thinking like you use the Teensy, but you don't recommend it, or
Oh, well, no. So the Teensy was I was looking for something that had a board that had in a single board, processor, real-time clock module, and an SD card. And the Teensy
yeah.
4.1 was that. And then it turns
you
out
have a
that
few around. I mean, you have quite a lot of Teensies from your other project.
I have the Teensy 3.2s, but I wound up buying two Teensy 4.1s.
I see.
Just I had never played around with them, and they're a very powerful processor in there. And that's how I created, these boards. And so there's the Teensy 4.1 there, had a keypad, a display, and then I have one act as the emulator and the other one act as the GPS module, as the receiver for the GPS. Yeah. But the reason why I don't recommend the Teensy 4.1 was that it requires a 5-volt supply. So you can't just connect it, VDD, ground, and TX and RX, because the processor won't power up without that 5-volt supply. So it required an extra supply. Whereas I'll just pull the leads off of this. This little guy from Adafruit is pull the display off of it. The display is optional. Like you said, you can just plug it in and it acts as the GPS emulator. Now Adafruit, makes these boards, and the thing is the real clock is not very accurate. So you can buy these crystals. Some of them are accurate, some are not. So there's no temperature compensation on here, so it loses about a second a day.
Oh, but still,
it's still okay. Well, that raised a question. When you're logging in fixed mode or moving mode for the Zen, are you recording with GPS time, or are you recording? Hey, Louis.
Hi, Louis.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, Louis.
Are you recording with GPS time, or are you recording with the real time, the clock, or the real time clock? Oh, GPS time. Okay.
GPS. But the delays between the times that we log is based on the internal clock. Like we log every 5 seconds. So, well, because it's only 5 seconds, you don't really get like a second delay or anything. So, in the end, if in the logs, at some point, like you log at like some 6th second, and then the next one would be at the 11th, and then 16th. But after a while, you would get like a 17th or like a 22nd, and then it will like add a second. But that's over multiple hours or days, or it kind of, it's like it would still log from the past 5 seconds. That's the most important part.
Yeah, so so that's good. So in comparison on these, I have a home monitor that has a real-time clock, which is a separate chip, DS something, and that's been running for months, and it's still accurate to the second because it has temperature compensation for the crystal. So there are real-time clocks, and then there are real-time clocks. To put it mildly. The drift, I was really surprised, a second a day. And then this other processor I have is even worse. Oh, Louis, I was saying that one of the things, since I've already, in writing the emulator, I wrote a uBlocks packet decoder and a packet assembler. So I said, why not replace the SparkFun library with just exactly what we need. So I did a search through the code, found all the, it's like, I think it's about 20 commands. GNS, all I did was search for a GNSS dot. And,
Right.
I know that's a command for the library. It's like 20 different commands. So I was going to implement a simple library that will, mitigate those that memory allocation issue and stuff.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and it'll be thread safe for some of the applications. So I'm making progress.
Yeah. No, I was reading what you posted in on the chat.
Right.
So I'm just came from outside running around with the grandson. Just kind of
nice.
No, it's not. He actually tries to hurt me.
Oh,
little fiend. Anyway.
Nice. But you've been okay, Louis?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's just super busy. This ski racing just takes up, well, basically most of my day on Saturday and Sunday. Get him there to the hill, come back at 3 o'clock, and put the stuff away. Next morning, put it all back in the car. So yeah, thankfully it's only till March.
Okay, so a few more weeks.
Yeah, a few more weeks.
Okay. And did you have time for making the board?
No, I started building it. I started building it, and I'm just desoldering some of the parts off the previous one, and the two wings for that switch are pretty hefty.
Oh yeah,
So,
you need to put the soldering iron for that.
Yeah, I had some trouble with that too.
Yeah, so
I had some trouble with most of the parts, getting them off, but
yeah, but now, but for just over the last month or so, a little bit more, I've just been slowly equipping a lab for myself. So now I have a hot air tool, desoldering tools, multimeter, nice 5-digit or 4.5 digit multimeter, and a power supply. So thank you, AliExpress, and some surplus local surplus dealers. But AliExpress, yeah. So, but no, the surplus dealers are pretty good because you can get some name brand stuff at a reasonable price.
And for the soldering, it's I don't know how you call them in English. In Dutch, it's called the strijkijzer. It means an iron version, an ironing. It's a very thick head you have, and then it has so much mass. If you put it on, it goes.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Those are great.
Yeah. No, I just used a hot air tool, for instance, for the to solder the battery clips. Right. I just I didn't have any solder paste, so I just sort of curled up some little twirl of solder, put it between the two, and let it go, and that worked out well.
Yeah, that works well. That's
yeah.
True. Yeah.
So now
the new boards are easier. They don't have the big pads anymore.
Yeah. Good. That's a lot of thermal mass. So but yeah. now I also have some paste. So,
Okay.
so I still have that issue where the GPS module, for some reason, the copper pads are not plated, and there's a little bit of oxide on that. So, so it's
you have like an IPA for that, or so isopropyl.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Oh,
So
okay.
that should, yeah, that should work. Also, some flux, just flux paste.
Or I sometimes, if things are very bad, I use the carburetor cleaner. That's from my time that I was car mechanic. This stuff that cleans all the stuff.
Yeah.
Not so good.
Yeah.
Cleans.
Yes. Good for the carburetor, not so good for humans.
No, not so good. You have to be careful with that, but
Yeah.
it cleans.
Okay, so yeah, so hopefully I'll get that get it assembled this week, and I can drive it around. I have to go to up ski country on Friday again. The kids racing. So
ski country is far away from you, or
it's about 2.5 hours to.
Oh, that's quite a drive.
Yeah, and
do you lock on the way?
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you go to the map of southern Ontario, there's a whole bunch near a town called Collingwood.
Okay.
Which is, yeah, and you'll see that's my trips to ski country.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Also, it also provides a good environmental test for, like, the Nano works just great even in -20.
That's good. The LiPo is holding up. That is amazing. Yeah.
Yes. So the what worries me so more is, well, the battery is one issue. I'm not sure it's -20, but the freezing of the OLED, that concerns me as well. So
it freezes. I don't know. I mean,
they do. I was actually curious about that. Looked it up, and they don't recommend anything colder than -20, because then well, for conventional LCDs, but even active matrix LEDs, or, AMOLEDs, -20 operating temperature. After that, not too sure if the transistors stop working, or the organic material stops reacting, or whatever. So
okay. Well, good to hear that. I didn't know that. And Jelle, did you have the time to work on the logging, or?
Yeah, get myself a key.
No, not really.
Not
On the
really,
logging
okay.
specifically. No, I was working on the sensor reporter, like what I was working on in December. I started working on, like, making a separate callable to run in a second thread, so you can run the
Yes, I remember that.
like the long tasks. You can run them in separate thread. So I was working on that, and some other changes that were needed for the logging, like moving the Wi-Fi connection to a worker, etc. Those kind of things. Trying to get, like, the pieces together so we can build on top of them. But I didn't have that much time last week, so it's mostly preparations, and then once it's done, it's like making some big progress again. You will notice.
Okay.
But for now, it's making sure that everything is possible that we want to do. Right. But I also haven't had time yet to look into the API, if it is, like, possible to send the whole log file from the Zen. So I'll have to check that as well, because that's some work on the API side, which you could probably pick up.
Okay. And the fix you made for the gray version for the button, it's sometimes once in 4 days or something like that, it will still trigger the button.
I made another fix. I don't think I pushed it yet, because it's part of a bunch of work. I was on a bunch of changes, which are not done yet. But it's basically, I think we talked about it last week, where I programmed it to be like it only registered starting pushing down once you had a push down for at least 10 milliseconds and at least one cycle. So if there is a cycle which is a bit longer than 10 milliseconds, it still doesn't register as being pushed down yet. And that would fix the issue.
I hope so. But then again, the grays are hard to find, so not many people will use them.
Right, right.
And I was surprised today also when I was trying to find more Core 2s. They from the official website, they're sold out already.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
But Alibaba had, AliExpress and Switch Science, they still had a lot of stock, so that was good. I think DigiKey also, but DigiKey is much more expensive. So that I'm trying to resource all the parts for the new build.
Right. In the Netherlands, we still got a lot in stock.
Okay. Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah. I can still buy at least 20, so that's good.
Okay. Okay, good. And is the price different from the US?
It's 25 euros.
What?
Really? 25 euros for a Core 2?
No, wait. 52,
I don't think so.
Sorry. 52 euros.
50,
But if you buy 100, it's only 51 per piece.
Yes. Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Ah, there we have the...
There's Poppy.
Poppy.
Oh, there he is.
Poppy, what are you looking at over here?
Oh, yeah.
He's cute.
Oh.
He's cleaning up your mouth.
She's climbing up on me. So I said, all right, you want to see what's up here? This is what's up here.
It's up. It's not much, so you can see there.
Yeah. All right.
Yes, that's nice.
Not a cat, but
Yeah.
a really nice dog.
Oh, good. Do we have other things to report, or can we make it short today?
I think it would be nice to keep it a bit short.
So back to the
work, so.
back to the emulator. I said, is there a cheaper board out there? Because Adafruit makes nice products and everything, but they're tend to be 25 30% more expensive than other things. But I couldn't find another board like the ESP boards. There's a lot of ESP boards, ESP32 boards out there, but they have to have that crystal in order to enable the real-time clock. And Louis, we were talking about the accuracy of them, which isn't all that great, but but it says, I mean, I could actually just, it's almost, I could just add the code for doing a real-time clock and do it in software. But I just like the idea of just plugging it in and having it spit out every second, which is, actually not quite a second.
The ESP has a built-in.
So yeah, I think the Feather M0 with the SD card. It has.
You're talking.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you were talking about this Adafruit logger, the Feather logger,
right?
That has the SD card built into the little module. So that
so it's the same price. Doesn't whether you get the one with the SD card or the M0 basic Feather. So I would get the logger. It gives us some more flexibility moving forward to use it for logging UBX packets or
yes, absolutely,
or for adding your own custom routes to the GPS emulator.
I'm very interested in the memory leak problem that you found, but I'm also interested in finding out what exactly the module is seeing up in the sky and which satellites it's actually using, and whether we can use this. I don't know if you noticed in that 500 pages of good fun book, the section on satellite-based assistance, and that's basically it's a geostationary satellite that provides an additional time reference. but being geostationary, if you're in North America, well, it's overhead. However, if you're in Europe, it's not overhead anymore. And if somehow the module latches on to the North American satellite, then you've got all sorts of time skew just because of interference and distance and all that kind of stuff. So then, if you'd be using the Galileo geostationary, right? So just having a little bit of awareness of where you are to pick the better reference.
Right.
So you know, and of course we get the same issue with in Japan as well, because they have their own system. So you know, so basically just a little bit, and if we don't know, then well, just don't worry about it. But you know, if you know, if you're North America or the Americas in general, I should say, because it's the same longitude. I have to think about that. Then you know, then do it. Otherwise, just default to just normal.
But is it just as like to display or to configure? Like, is it? Can you say like, I want to connect to a specific? Like
I think it should be automatic.
It is automatic, right? But can we figure out which one we connected to then?
Well, if you're within, you know, this longitude and that longitude, then just pick the, you know, if you're, you know, within the Americas, you know, let's say, I don't know, what is it, 40 degrees to 100 and some, then just pick, if it's available, use it. If it's not available, don't. But make that, you know, like transparent to the user. The user should not worry about that unless, you know, you go into guru mode, and you know, if there's some sort of deep menu that we provide eventually. But I don't see a point of putting it out there, you know, because the having a more accurate time base obviously gives you more accurate fix.
But can you get from the individual satellites their name or I don't know, the code?
Yeah, well, that's what the NavSat packet from the U-Blocks receiver gives you, but it gives you the whole, you know, like if it sees 32, it's going to give you a list of 32. So that's not something that we want to do in real time.
Yeah, those are really big packets. They had mentioned that in the document. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we using that, or we're not using that at the moment, or do we?
Well, not anymore, I think.
Not anymore. We started to, and what happens is that the heading of the packet tells you how many satellites it knows about. That's why we got those huge numbers, like 20 satellites and all that kind of stuff. Well, it knows about these, but how many is it actually able to use? Yes. It's a much smaller number. So the head of the packet, you know, it just gives you the short form, how many satellites and you know, the time and all that kind of stuff. And then you have one record per satellite. Yeah. Right. And then it tells you, you know, if it's GPS or the Russian or whatever. Some orbital data, you know, it's time based, all that kind of stuff. That we'd like to know something about it, but it's having to process that in real time just doesn't make sense. And frankly, I'm not sure that we could use the information. But it's more for our information, just as a confidence building.
Right.
Right, and that's where basically just being able to blast this out to a micro SD card once a second, and then we could start looking at that.
Michael, does your emulator do that? So you can see that? Or?
Right now, it's only capturing PVT packets. I'd have to set it up to capture more than that.
Could it handle?
Trying to find And there really shouldn't be any issue with capturing more data than just that simple packet. What is that? I was just trying to look for the file where I captured all of the commands that we're using. You had added a command in there. Why I can't find it? Start.
Well, for a while we were using nav DOP, dilution of precision, but
Right.
that also turned out to be not all that helpful.
Right.
Because it was giving you the global, the spherical, the X, Y, and altitude, and a whole bunch of other stuff that really wasn't all that helpful. And the nav PVT packet gives you a number that's reasonable. It's I mean, unless you go right into the math, I think it's just a figure of merit that, rather than actual measurement with real world units or anything like that. Basically it's a relative that if you're below 100 or 120 or whatever the threshold is, then you're okay. It's
Right.
basically it's that good.
So one of the things I noticed in the latest set of code is you enabled AOP config, and that involves also AOP orbital max error. Is that related to this, or?
Yella, was that you? Because I don't remember doing that.
Yeah, I use the assist now in the in the code. I enabled that. Yeah, that was to use the flash memory on the GPS module itself to store like an almanac type structure, so it remembers what satellites it was connected to for a specific time, so it can do like a hot start.
It's like it's like a super hot start instead of just a normal hot start. I guess what
I think it's the normal hot start.
Warm start.
Warm start.
Like a warm start, right.
Yeah.
I think
if
you don't have it enabled, then it will always have a cold start. From what I could find.
I tried to. It wasn't very clear in the documentation that warm start was required. That this was required for a warm start, but at the same time, I didn't find anything that told me the opposite either.
Yeah, all I got out of it is that if the module has been off for more than 4 hours, then it's going to go into a cold start because
and then it says the same thing for even with this enabled. They said it was about a 4-hour window before it went to cold start mode. But anyway, I put that in the emulator, so it actually returns a positive acknowledgement when that command is said it as well. So I've captured all the commands that we have. If anybody was using this emulator outside of this and they sent a command that wasn't one that we use, it just gives a negative acknowledgement. So
that's good.
Okay.
And right now, like I said, it's only the PVT packet. So if there's something other packets that we want to start exploring or capturing, then let's work through that. It's now that the infrastructure is there, that shouldn't be that big of a deal.
Yeah. I'm most interested in that, how you capture those packets.
Yeah. So I don't know if you knew this. The SparkFun library has 2 modes. One is where you're polling PVT, like get PVT, and then if you get it, you get the information, but you don't actually get the raw packet. The other mode that's supported in the library is callbacks. So what happens is you say, whenever a PVT packet is received, call this function. And that's the one that I use to actually say, okay, and it gives you a pointer to the raw PVT packet that it received. And that's the one where I capture that packet. I do the same decoding that the SparkFun library does to extract the information out of it. But then I have that raw packet to just throw into the SD card. And so that's how the emulator works. And you can and they enabled that. It's, like I said, the good thing about the SparkFun library is how thoroughly they've implemented that 540 something page document. but the so I could, implement callbacks for any of the types of packets that's already built into that library.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nice work.
Thank you.
Very good. Very impressed.
It's funny, like I think I'd mentioned this at one point. A lot of my career was reverse engineering interfaces to, like, hey, we should really be using this advanced router for doing 3D routing inside of computer chips. And it's like, well, how do I make that interface work?
Yeah.
And work in our environment. So sometimes it's like most software issues. You eventually win, but you can come out real bloody and bruised depending upon what the problem was.
Yeah, but from the scars, next time.
Yeah, you get better. Yes, you do. You
Yeah.
get better at it with time.
Okay, I think we soon will be closed off. I mean, the meeting will be over soon in a few minutes.
Sounds good.
Yep.
You want to say bye-bye or what?
Yeah.
What other
We can
things?
have a short plan for next week. Like,
Okay.
what can we work on?
Right.
I will be continuing on the sensor report library updates. I'll see how far I can get, but I have not much time this week, so
I'll work on the SparkFun replacement library.
Now I
All
work
right.
on the website and ordering things, and I have to set up a payment system still. So payment system
Okay.
works, but it needs to be redefined and cleaned up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just
And that
gonna get-
80, yeah, go ahead, Louis.
No, I'm just gonna finish building my Zen and finish setting up my lab. So,
I have to do that as well too.
important.
Yeah.
oh,
And
right
that
now
eight-
it's just a mess.
I'm waiting for a new Pocket. Pocket is very nice. It's a very small multimeter, but it has a BLE in it, so it communicates with with your phone or tablet, and then
Oh,
you
yeah.
can get graphs out of it, like the AC graphs and the DC graphs. Everything comes out of the multimeter. Oh, it's very nice. Looking forward to see that.
And the fact that you're not holding the wires and looking and trying to see the display as it's fumbling around there. That's nice.
It's quite nice, and it records, so it's. I'm looking forward. Ray showed me one, and I said, "Wow, this is impressive," because I wanted to buy an AC probe for my RF projects, but this can do the same trick. It goes only to 1 megahertz, but that's good enough for what I want to measure.
Right.
No, I'm
Nice.
working on the 27 megahertz stuff for the client, but.
Right.
Some parts is the lower frequency, and then I can use it for.
Yeah. Post the info for that. I'd be curious. Yeah.
No, it's. I think it's in the Radnode building party. Oh, maybe you're not invited there. So it's a channel. I can post you for that.
Okay.
And Ray was
Sounds
also showing something very interesting in USB soldering iron, very small, like this big. And it was powerful. I mean, it was impressive, this one.
Cool.
So I will post it too, because those are very useful tools.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks for joining.
Have a great week, everyone.
Yeah.
Yes.
You too.
You too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Bye-bye.
Hey,
Bye.
Bye-bye.